Okay, so I just had a meeting with Lawrence from Raccoon Hair Extensions. He's given me lots and lots of information that I feel like I want to pass on to you. And while it's still really fresh in my mind, I just want to get it down on video so that you can listen to this, because you know how it is. Come into the salon, the minute it all gets busy, this information could get lost. So he started talking about why Raccoon is very different to other brands, and the development of why they've moved on from a hot system to a cool system. So the hot system is a system that I've always been used to doing with Raccoon, which is the bonded system. It's loose hair, you add like a natural glue, and then it's bonded into the hair. It's all loose, you choose the hair and add it as you've done. So the problem that happened with Raccoon is that he said to me in April 2015, a brand new brand came out, and spent masses on marketing, used people like Cheryl Cole, paid her thousands and thousands of pounds to push their system. Their system was like the micro, the nano system, the cool system that doesn't give glue to the hair, by promoting that they're not using glue in the hair. They were trying to push that this is the safest way to have your hair extensions applied. The problem is with this brand and other more cheaper brands, they in the bonds, the little rings that are being placed in, they're made out of copper. Copper, as you might not all know, but over time copper does change colour. It does go green. This can cause discolouring to the hair, the bond. Also, it has masses of metallic salts. Metallic salts in the hair can affect the way the hair is coloured. It can also cause other reactions to the scalp. There's a high level of nickel in copper. You tend to find that there is a percentage of the population that are allergic to cheaper metals like fashion jewelry, buttons, metal buttons and jeans and things, and that is because of the content of nickel that's in there. So that could also be a reason why somebody felt that their extensions were uncomfortable or itchy. The other thing with copper, under a microscope, they said once it's been pinched, the copper cracks. It's not very strong. It's not one of the strongest metals, which causes, when the copper cracks, it causes like little tiny like razor sharp pieces of metal that we can't see with the eye, but under a microscope that is there. And when the people are moving their head and things, that can cause the hair to even slice through it, which is then causing breakage, which looks like I've got loads right now in this light. Moving on. The other thing with the other extension brands is, as we've seen with the ones that we've used previously, Phoebe and Natalie used them. When we clamped those bonds together, we used pliers that are flat. When they are squished flat, and then the heat is applied onto those copper, that copper is then expanding. When that expands with the heat of the hairdryer, it then loosens the bond and then slips out. So as we've found in the past, that we've had a lot of trouble with the bonds holding in, and that could be one of the reasons why. So the difference with Raccoon bonds, which they've created and wanted to make different to anything else on the market, is that the bonds are made of aluminium. The aluminium, it does again hold heat when it's originally on it, but as it's taken away from the heat disappears. So it doesn't retain that heat continuously. One thing we know about aluminium is that foil is made from aluminium, so we know it's safe with colour, because we're using that on a day-to-day basis in hairdressing. When it's bent, it doesn't crack. It's really strong, so it doesn't crack the way that the copper does, so it stays in its same strong form. It also, the clamps that we use in Raccoon, in comparison to the clamps that I've used before, have got ridges in them. So when those are clamped down onto the bond, it's causing those like teeth effects. It's really gripping in. So they guarantee that these aren't going to fall out. They are strong, they're not going to contain the heat, and they're clamped in a rigid effect. Also, they're known to be the smallest cool bonding system out there. Each bond is 2.5 millimeters in width, which is teeny tiny, and the rest of the competitors 3 millimeters. So there is only 0.5 millimeter there, but they're still classed as the smallest out there. The application is different because they applicate under the hair and not over the top, and by doing that, what they're doing is kind of how Lawrence described it, is when the application was put in, the bond or the extension is like a light bulb, and your hair is like the shade, the light bulb shade over the top. So what's happening then is it's covering over that bond to disguise it. They said by this system, the way it's applied underneath and not above, when the hair falls down, you cannot feel the extensions in there. They're so small, and the way the hair is applied gives it a real natural feel to the hair, and you cannot feel the extensions in there. These are really important information I think we need to know about the Raccoon brand to be able to then, if we understand it, then we can talk about it to our clients a little bit more. So when we do the training, what we're going to be training on is Lux Links. The Lux Links are very similar, like we talked about the Nano system and their beaded effect. And the other system is the Lux Weave. The difference between the Lux Links and the Lux Weave, the links are individually placed in with the beads, and the Lux Weave is a weft of hair applied section by section, included beads across it. A very quick system that can be, a full head can be done in under an hour. It might be that you do a bit of a mix of the both to help it sit more natural in the hair and softer natural finish. So the difference between the original bonded system, which is a hot system with the glue, is that system has to be rotated every 8 weeks. With the new Lux Link system, it's every 10 weeks. So that client is getting longevity out of those extensions, lasting that little bit longer. They're not going to be making the trips to the salon as often, and then hopefully saving money over a longer period of time. The hair can be used up to a year. If it's looked after well, you could even push it past that year. So it's another saving for the client. So they're paying that extra cost for good quality hair that can repeatedly get used, rather than our older rather than the competitors, which they're having to replace time and time again. The other great thing about Raccoon extensions is that with their Lux system, the beaded system, there's nothing to prepare beforehand. So what we're used to doing before is having to thread all the beads on the applicator to then apply. What they've done different is the bead is already on the bond, the hair, ready to apply. So it's a much quicker, easier system to apply as well, because it's all prepared, ready for us. Just checking there's anything else I need to mention about that. I think that is everything I can give about the actual knowledge of the hair extensions at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make another video in a second about how we talked about promoting it. Thank you.